Hi everyone, welcome to Asia Obscura. Today we're taking a look at the top 10 most disturbing serial killers in Asia. In this video, we'll delve into the minds of some of history's most infamous criminals, exploring the gruesome deeds that shocked nations and left a lasting legacy of fear. But before that, please do subscribe for more Asian stories. Now let's dive in. Number 1. Young Xinhai. Meet Young Xinhai, the infamous Chinese serial killer who terrorized multiple provinces between 1999 and 2003. Operating under the cover of night armed with axes, hammers, and shovels, Young attacked his victims' homes, sparing no one, mainly targeting farmers and entire families. His ruthless acts left a trail of devastation in its wake, shocking the nation and earning him the chilling moniker of the Monster Killer. Young's reign of terror came to an end in November 2003 when he was apprehended by police. Following a trial, Young Xinhai was sentenced to death for his gruesome crimes on February 14, 2004. Number 2. Tsutomu Miyazaki. Tsutomu Miyazaki, also known as the Otaku Murderer and the Rat Man, was a Japanese serial killer who shocked the nation with his heinous crimes in the late 1980s. Between 1988 and 89, Miyazaki committed unspeakable acts, mutilating and murdering 4 young girls aged 4 to 7. His gruesome crimes included dismemberment, necrophilia, and cannibalism. Miyazaki's reign of terror came to an end in July 1989, when he was caught taking nude photographs of a young girl. Despite being diagnosed with personality disorders, he was deemed sane and fully aware of his actions. After a lengthy trial that delved into his mental state, Miyazaki was sentenced to death in 1997. His execution by hanging in 2008 marked the end of a dark chapter in Japanese criminal history. Number 3. Ahmad Suradji. Ahmad Suradji was an Indonesian serial killer who committed horrifying acts of violence in the name of black magic rituals. Sobhraj worked as a cattle breeder and a shaman, catering to women seeking supernatural guidance. His descent into darkness began with a chilling dream from his deceased father. Between 86 and 97, Sobhraj carried out a macabre ritual, luring young girls and women to his sugarcane plantation. He buried them up to their waists, strangled them, and drank their saliva in a twisted quest for mystical powers, believing that the act would grant him healing abilities. The discovery of 21-year-old Sri Kamala Devi's body in 1997 led to Suraj's arrest. Shockingly, he confessed to killing up to 42 victims in a similar manner. Suraj's trial in December 1997 exposed the gruesome details of his crimes. Despite maintaining his innocence, he was found guilty and sentenced to death by firing squad. Number 4. Miyuki Ishikawa. Miyuki Ishikawa was a Japanese midwife and real estate agent. She became infamous for her involvement in a series of heinous crimes that shocked post-war Japan. During the late 1940s, Ishikawa presided over a tragic period at a maternity ward where numerous infants were left to die due to neglect. Exploiting the dire circumstances of unwed mothers, she and her husband solicited money from parents under the guise of providing care for their unwanted children. The discovery of infant remains in 1948 led to the arrest of Ishikawa and her husband. Autopsies revealed the gruesome truth behind the deaths of numerous infants at the maternity ward. Despite attempts to downplay their involvement, the couple was found guilty of multiple murders by omission. Number 5. Huang Yong. Beginning in September 2001, Huang enticed young boys from video halls and cafes with promises of lucrative jobs or educational opportunities. Once lured to his home, he drugged and strangled his victims, subjecting them to unspeakable tortures before ending their lives. Fortunately, the tide turned in November 2003 when a brave young boy, Zhang Liang, escaped Huang's clutches and alerted authorities. Despite initial skepticism, Liang's account led to Huang's arrest, conviction, and eventual execution for the murder of 17 victims. Regarding his motives, he once said, "I've always wanted to be an assassin since I was a kid, but I never had the chance." Number 6. Yoo Young-chul. Yoo Young-chul's chilling spree of violence spanned from September 2003 to July 2004. His victims included prostitutes, wealthy senior citizens, and innocent individuals. Yoo Young-chul's method of operation involved luring victims to his residence, where he would brutally murder them, often mutilating their bodies. His reign of terror came to an end when a brave survivor alerted authorities, leading to his arrest in July 2004. Psychological assessments reveal Yoo Young-chul's deep-seated resentment and antisocial behavior. Despite disruptions during court proceedings, Yoo Young-chul was ultimately sentenced to death for 20 counts of murder. Number 7. Lee Thanh Van. Born on December 5, 1956, in Saigon, South Vietnam, Lee Thanh Van exhibited an eccentric and cold personality from a young age. Lee Thanh Van's criminal spree involved poisoning at least 13 victims with cyanide, a scheme she orchestrated with her husband. Their motive was financial gain, resulting in a trail of death and deception that shocked the nation. Regarded as one of Vietnam's most prolific serial killers, Lee Thanh Van was convicted and sentenced to death for her crimes. In October 26, 2005, Van was executed by firing squad. Number 8. Lee Choon-jae, the infamous South Korean serial killer behind the Hwaseong murders. Between 1986 and 1994, he terrorized the nation by brutally taking the lives of 15 women and girls in a series of heinous crimes. For 3 decades, the case remained unsolved, haunting the collective memory of South Korea. Lee's chilling acts of violence and sexual assaults shook the peaceful town of Hwaseong. In a shocking turn of events in 2019, Lee Choon-jae confessed to the murders, bringing closure to a long-standing mystery. Despite DNA evidence linking him to the crimes, the statute of limitations prevented him from facing prosecution for most of his horrific deeds. The story of Lee Choon-jae and the Hwaseong serial murders inspired the critically acclaimed 2003 film Memories of Murder. Number 9. Raman Raghav. Meet Raman Raghav, a serial killer who terrorized India in the mid-1960s. Dubbed as the Jack the Ripper of India, Raghav went on a killing spree for over 3 years, leaving a trail of fear and devastation. Raghav's reign of terror began in 1965 and 1966 with a series of brutal murders in Mumbai, bludgeoning pavement and slum dwellers to death while they slept. He struck at night using a hard, blunt object, instilling fear in the city's residents. After a massive manhunt, Raman Raghav was apprehended by the police. Despite past criminal records and a confession to multiple murders, Raghav evaded a death sentence due to mental illness and was sentenced to life imprisonment instead. Number 10. Charles Sobhraj. Meet Charles Sobhraj, a notorious serial killer, fraudster and thief who preyed on Western tourists in South Asia during the 1970s. Sobhraj's criminal spree spanned multiple countries. Sobhraj is believed to have murdered at least 20 tourists in Southeast Asia, with a significant number of victims in Thailand. After evading capture for years, he was finally apprehended in Nepal in 2003 and sentenced to life imprisonment for his heinous crimes. In a surprising turn of events, he was released from prison in December 2022 due to his old age after serving nearly 2 decades of his sentence. Sobhraj's dark and twisted life story has inspired multiple books, documentaries, and films, including the 2021 BBC Netflix miniseries The Serpent, shedding light on the chilling tale of a man who used charm and deception to commit heinous crimes. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Asia Obscura. Please do subscribe for more stories. And if you have your own stories to share or topics you'd like us to explore, feel free to leave a comment. Until next time, stay curious, stay passionate, and stay tuned. And